good morning, and thank you all for coming and joining us for this webinar. My name is Shishir, and I'll be your host and presenter for today. So, to all the audience in the webinar, this webinar is a continuation of our previous webinars where we had covered on bill of materials and project planning. In case any of you have missed those webinars, don't worry, we will be showcasing you a glimpse of those two in today's session as well. And thank you all to who have been attending our previous webinars along with this one too. In case if you want to have a detailed sessions on the previous webinar that was on project planning and bill of materials, or even the one that we are going to have today, you can always reach out to us via the same link, like the email through which you got the invite for the webinar, or also I'll be sharing my contact details at the end, so you can reach out to me, and we will reach out and we can have a discussion as we go. So a quick introduction about me. I'm currently working as product manager, product owner at Beacon for the DTX portfolio, and I have 5 years of experience in CAD and PLM systems, overlooking PDM, PLM implementations, integrations, and migration processes. I have been working with multiple customers from various sectors of the industry, and a quick introduction about Beacon as such. Beacon is the India's largest solar reseller, serving over customers for past 22 years. We are supporting over 4,000 plus customers to ease product development with design and manufacturing automation solutions. Over the years, we have observed that there are certain gaps left when working with multiple tools and solutions in various design and manufacturing processes. One such gap we found was in terms of the material demand forecasting, which is our agenda for the webinar, and how to overcome this gap. To assist our customers and fill this gap, we proudly introduce DTX. DTX is a digital transformation for excellence. That's what it means, stands for. It's an initiative from Beacon, and this is a homegrown product, and we are taking care of its development, implementation, and support to our customers after delivery. DTX plays a vital role in connecting different systems that might not usually work together. We have observed that almost every customer has processes that could be made better uh, for smoother collaboration and integrating data seamlessly. Okay. As a part of this process, we introduced the material demand forecasting module, a significant development aimed at connecting data and drawing the intelligence to better predict the need or the requirements during the phase of the project planning or as such. Now, DTX acts as a transformative solution, giving our customers the tool to start the digital transformation journey using their data and make the systems more, work even better. So DTX is an initiative that has been led by Mr. Nana Ramaswamy along with a team of 20 members. He has 25 years of experience in software development and has worked at companies like Dassault Systems, Autodesk, Think3, Siemens Business, and many more in the field of construction and manufacturing industries, developing solutions for these verticals. At this point, I would like to quickly put on a poll. I request all the attendees to take part in this poll, and so that we can understand better on and take the webinar on the basis of how the audience are right now over here. I hope you can see the poll. So I'll keep the poll open for next 50 seconds. So you all can vote over there now. As we can see, most of you have challenges when it comes to tracking the projects and BOMs so that you can predict the demand requirement in terms of the materials that needs to be ordered. 50% next would be on the revising the material orders, like already the orders that we have planned to put out to purchase the materials. Overloading of inventory is the next, errors while calculating is the next, and the last would be the overspend. So the purpose we had this is to understand what are challenges we face. Now, all these challenges that we have posed across is something that can be solved with the help of DTX. So what is DTX? So as I mentioned, DTX is a digital transformation tool that being provided from, and also a service that has been provided from the Beacon, and it caters the following sections of the segments. Like DTX helps you in overcoming with regards to bill of materials and item master. so that you can manage your BOM and material masters with ease across solutions that you're already using. Like it allows you to connect with your CAD, also make it uniform across your ERP if you're using ERP. If you're not using ERP, you can use DTX as the means to store your BOMs and also item masters. Next, it helps you in terms of planning the projects so that you'll be able to easily track and schedule, and also check the overall how the performance is going on, because we have certain aspects in the project planner that helps you to understand the health of the project in terms of whether the project is on time, whether it's getting delayed, where it's getting delayed. So all these kind of metrics are something that are there that helps the project managers to, or the organization, to understand where the project is going and how it is going. Next is insights and forecast. This is what we're currently going to cover today in the webinar, that is to view the material demand forecast, and also we can generate dashboards as such, if any certain dashboards that are required from your end, so we can customize those for you. Next is custom development. So in case if you're looking for any kind of customization in terms of the SolidWorks, PDM, or any solution with regards to your processes, you can always reach out to us. We do develop custom, as we mentioned, DTX is our own homegrown product within Beacon, so we are developing it. Along with that, we also help our customers in having any custom development they want for any process or any particular need. To give a certain example, it could be as simple as having a part number, or it could also be as big as having some integration services between multiple systems which you already are using. Okay. Now, quickly, I would just put on one more poll. So this is to understand how many of you are interested in which aspect of the DTX features that we just talked about. So we'll keep the poll open for another minute, and you can start voting for this. All right. I can see that majority of you are voted for the BOM and project planning. So if you need, as I mentioned earlier, you can always reach out to us to get more insights on these two aspects. Material demand we'll cover now, and dashboards and custom integration service or customization is the next. All right, so let's just go ahead with the next set of the webinar. So now let's talk about the material demand forecast, that which is our agenda for the webinar today. So what is the material demand forecast? So material demand forecast is all about predicting the need of a good or a material in the production line way ahead. Okay, so even before the time comes, you need to predict what amount of items or materials you'll be needing, so that your production goes in in smooth or as planned phase. Now, for estimating the material demand forecast, the key thing is identifying when and where the need is. And the way to do that we have come across with DTX is with the help of having a defined schedule plan and making or understanding where the material or the bill of materials will, or the items that would be needed in the plan. So making an association between the project plan and the bill of materials will give you the demand forecast that will allow you to predict and understand based on how the project is going. So by tracking the project, if there is any delay or if there's any projects getting completed even before the schedule, in such scenarios, you'll be able to easily understand and see the data, and then based on that, make the required calls to get the materials on time, so that you'll be able to have a clean, smooth production operation going on. So let's talk about project plan. So project plan will allow us to define and schedule our project execution, and also allows us to assign BOMs and resources, so that we can make association between how, at what point of time we would need a particular resource or a particular BOM. And also we'll be able to track the statuses of projects, and also you see the resource utilization with the help of timesheets. Okay, so let me quickly switch over to the DTX. I'll show you what. Let me just log out from here. So this is the DTX page. From here we'll log in, and we have, as I mentioned, DTX has various models. We can see all those modules on the left side, such as the projects, item master, BOM, timesheets, forecast. So before we get into the forecasting, as I mentioned, first and foremost, the process starts with defining a project plan. So to create a project, we can always go to here and we can define projects. So we can say create a new project. This will bring in the interface for me to fill in the data, and I can go ahead and save and create a project. For now, I already have created a project that we will be going through. So once I created a project, I can search for this project. So that starts with mod. So I'll select this. So I created a project with following project name. So once I go to that, I can just go to project planning. Over here, my project plan or schedule is defined. Now, let me quickly add few more components to this project plan. Now, this is not the only method in which you'll be able to upload or create a project plan. We also have Excel plugin where you can define the set of columns, and through that you'll be able to upload or import the project plan directly from Excel and create the whole project plan. Okay. Here I'm just creating it to show you how it is when indirectly within the interface. So let me just add a couple of stage here, design phase. And inside this, I'll add a child. And let's say I'll define I need how many hours for this. Let's say we need 24 hours. And I can also assign the user right here. Then the next thing would be drafting, which would take let's say 11. This is also assigned to a person. All right. The next ones I have defined my activities that are supposed to be part of the plan. I can start defining the dependencies on how, when, and how these are dependent. So in this case, I'm just going to give that saying that this R&D, like drafting is dependent on R&D. So once the R&D is done, the drafting should take place. And similarly, design R&D would work after the previous proto has been completed. So let me just change the view and let me add a dependency here. Now that I have defined the dependency, I can just click on auto compute. This will automatically reschedule all my activities depending on the duration that has been defined and also on how the dependencies are defined based on whether it's start to start, finish to finish. All those things will be automatically taken care by this. At the same time, you can also see which are the critical. Since I've given everything as finished to start, everything is coming on critical. If there are any parallel tasks, let's say for example, if I remove this link, sorry, just remove this link. And I'll keep this here. So now the critical path is just between these three. So based on how you define the schedule, automatically the critical path would be defined. So just set this, I'll save the data. So with this, my planning phase is done where I have defined the schedule, where I've allocated my resource and everything. Now the next step that comes into creating this is the bill of materials. So with the module of bill of materials and material master within the DTX, we will be able to define the project bill of materials, manage BOM variants, also manage the material item master. And with that, we'll be able to have a material demand forecast. Let me go back to the DTX. Now coming to defining the item master. So ERP system or any such systems where your material data is stored, we can have association with them and we can have them populated over here. In case we do not have them, we can make the DTX item master itself as a repository where you store all your raw materials, products that you do not develop, and everything can be stored right here. Okay, and there are certain properties over here within the DTX, such as the material ID, material name, PLM ID. So all these are certain standards that we have defined, and you can import the required data across. Okay, so if I want to create a new material, I can just say create material. So I need to switch to the master. So in the master, we can see all the data that is there with regards to the complete organization. And when you go to project level, you'll see the materials for that's required. Okay, so here we can say add material in the master. So based on this, we'll be able to create new masters, or we have Excel plugins also again for this to import a bulk amount of data at once. Okay. Now let's come to the BOM creation. So I'll just go to the project. and go to the bomb. So here this is a project level bomb. We have something called as master level bomb also, which I'll just cover after I complete this process. So to start with project level bomb, I'll first say create bomb. Okay, and this is the interface where we'll be filling all the data. So I'll give a bomb name. So this is for the project JSD. I'll say JSD Pro bomb 1. I'll define an effective date for this. Let's say it will be effective from tomorrow. And now here I can start adding the materials and what quantity do I need. Okay, so let me just add some of these. So I know the numbers, so I'll just quickly search for them. So I want to add this one, subassembly 102. Then I want this, so 1. And there are other components like elbow. Next page. Let's search for that again. Oh, sorry. ELB, that elbow. So then I need this 272. Then I need another status. So these are, I'm searching based on the codes that I've given. You can also search based on tags. We have something called as tags. So let's say you have defined some items as the bought out, you can add a tag of bought out. Or if it is a standard, so like nut, bolt, or any thing like that, you can add tags. You can define multiple tags. I'll show you how we define tags and where we define that in a minute. Let me just add these. Then there is 3. And I need one pipe. So the pipe that I need is this one. Okay, so I have defined all the data that I need. So now that I've added, I can here start updating the quantities. I need 2 quantity of these 2 assemblies. Elbows I would need, let's say 4. This one I need 6, and this one I need 3 quantities. This will be 2 quantities. And the pipe that we need of specific size of, we can also define a unit size. We have the option of defining unit size. Let's say where you're, let's say you're using certain, like in this example, like pipe itself here, I could be using 2 different kind of pipes, but they're identified by the same part number. In this case, one could be of a thickness, let's say 2 mm, another could be a thickness of 5 mm. So based on the unit size, I can define the which mm that I want. Sorry, in the 2 mm shell, I might be needing a different length of the unit size, like it could be of so and so length, another could be of Y length. So all those unit size you can define of what unit size it is. And let's see this for this, I need a pipe of 5 quantity. And I'll save this. So I created the bill of material. And here we have version control. So we can have checkout, check-in, so that it will be reserved. So whenever you do it, whenever to edit a BOM, you need to check out the BOM and do the modifications required. Here we also have the total cost and sales price. So once we feed in from ERP, once we link in the item master, we have fields for sales price and the total cost. So once you feed in those data from the ERP saying that this is so and so the cost, you can also get the total cost out here in the BOM saying that this whole BOM will cost you this much. Okay. And yeah, I was talking about check-in, checkout. So with check-in, checkout, users will have control over how it's being edited, and every edit will have a version. So if I just check this in, so it's version 1. If I check out again and make a modification, version 2 will be created, and there'll be history tracking who did the modification at what time and everything. So you'll be able to track all this with ease. Okay. And there are other life cycle statuses that have been defined for the BOMs, that is lock, so that once you identify that the BOM is finalized and no more further edits to be allowed, so admin can lock the BOMs and say that this BOM is locked so that no one can edit it. Even with the people who have edit rights will not be edited unless the admin goes and says that it can be edited. Next, we have obsolete BOMs, so that once you can mark that as obsolete, so that in future you'll not be able to use this BOM. Okay, but it will be there in wherever the previous projects or wherever you have used it previously. And also you can mark a particular bomb as release so that only those release bombs can be identified and used for other purposes in terms of defining the bomb and all those things. We also have a function called a share bomb. This will allow us to share it to a user. Okay, so what this function does is that, let's say you have certain vendors or suppliers or external people with whom you work, and they help you in defining the bill of materials. You can share this bomb to them. They can work it on the fly. Similarly, just like how I just now checked in, and my data was captured in terms of the process that in whatever changes I made. Similarly, whenever the external you share with them, whenever they modify, they will be able, that tracking will also be recorded and versions will be created. Normally, the conventional method goes is that you export this Excel and then share it to them, and then they modify and come back to you with saying that these are things that needs to be modified, then use it and modify. Rather than doing this tedious work, directly share it the bomb with them. They will have access to this bomb alone and the material master that has been shared with them, and they will be able to, you can sit on a call and at once together you can do it on the fly, or you can let, if they know about your materials that you use, they can easily go ahead and modify the bomb, and you'll have able to see what changes they have done and everything as such. Okay. Yeah. The next thing that I was talking about with regards to was the tags. So in the settings, we can define various material tags. Okay. In this case, like you can see here, I've defined some for weld, some for pipe, for couplings, elbow, flanges. So like this, you can define n number of, you know, tags, and you can further make it a hierarchical one, saying that inside the pipe, if you have certain categories, again, define those as child, and inside one that child, again, define the. So in this way, you'll be able to identify with the tags, and you can search for a given tag also. Okay. Also, we have other things like custom lists, like defining material groups. You can define material groups like whether it's bought out in-house, or if you want to define something as, long lead or something else, whatever the group properties or material type of groups that you utilize in your organization, you can define them here, and you can use those across. There are other aspects of customization that can be done in terms of unit of measurements, weight units, and all those other data. Now coming back to the bomb, so I have created this bomb and I have said this bomb is updated. Okay, and now the next thing that I need to do is I go back to my project planning. Okay. And over here, I'll be able to define and make association with the bomb. But before we do that, let me just show you something. We have the board as well here, the Kanban board that can be used by the users who are working on the task to identify and work seamlessly. So they'll be able to move the task to in progress, which will automatically update the progress. So by so and so percentage, and if it's done, we can move to done and it will be marked as 100% completed. And also at the same time, there is timesheet that can be used to track and see the progress that a user has done. So let's say, in this case of this project, I had assigned to Nanar, and this was on 1st of Feb. Okay, so let me just do one thing. Let me take a back date, kickoff. Here also I'll say assign. Just made it. So I'll take the requirement, review. This I'll assign the user, and I'll say save. So at this point, this particular what you say requirement review is something that hasn't been begun. So what I'll do as a user, once I logged in, I'll say requirement review is something that I want to work on. So I'll put it in progress. Okay. And there are other data that you can see, like you can see which is the predecessor on which task it was dependent, whether it's down completed, and also you can see the successor, like on which, like the next task which is dependent on this. So all this data you can see. You can also assign users from here. You can also define comments to track or share details, like if multiple users are there, you can comment and you can have communication across with the users. You can attach materials and bombs right from here as well. So, okay. Coming to the user part that I was explaining. So now that I put it in progress, okay, it was planned for 22nd Jan. I can go back to, let me just, it's bet in the future. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me just say that this needs 16 hours. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a lag. Uh, lag of, let's say, 8. Auto compute. Oh, sorry, -8. It has to be. Save. So I'm making certain modifications so that I can show you the timesheet data on this date. I'll go and edit. I'll select a project, and the project was on mod JST. And on Friday, I'll say that here I'll go. I'll select subtask which has been assigned. So the requirement review was assigned to me. So I can only see the task that has been assigned to me, and I can fill the data across so that timesheets are updated based on this. So requirement review. So I had put in saying that it's a 18 like 18 hours or something. So let's say already 8 hours are spent, and I say that I need another 10 hours or 6 hours to complete this. So against this one, I'll add as the same. So now when I go to project plan and go to my board, you can see automatically based on a timesheet that I have filled, the progress has been updated for the requirement review. Thing within the Gantt that shows something called as projected plan. So let me just see this. So this project plan will, what it'll do is it'll show the extra work that needs to be done, okay, and push the project plan ahead whenever there is a change, okay. So it will add up here and it will show in the, there's a light blue at the back that I don't know if you can see it on screen, but there is an indicator that shows by how much this project will be moving ahead with, okay, because of the required time. Even though I had given that this is only a 16 my timesheet data, I said it requires 18 hours in total. That is 10 hours that I spent already, and I need 8 more hours. So it is saying that it will go ahead by 2 more hours or 2 more days, inverter convention, like that. Okay. So this way you can see a projected plan. You can see a Slack. Slack is basically showcasing how much a task can be, has a period to complete before it becomes a critical task. Okay. And similarly, you can see critical path, and we can have multiple baselines. So you can set a baseline so that you can compare between what was planned and what is the actual, how it is going. Okay, so all those things can be viewed to create and analyze how the project is going in terms of the how it was planned and everything. Okay, let me edit the project plan. I'll go back to design R&D. So the BOM that I created is something that would be made association at this point. So you can see the BOM that I created, JST Pro BOM1, is right here. So I'll attach this BOM to this task, that is design R&D. This is where I would be needing those materials to be defined. Okay, and similarly, you can create multiple BOMs. So if I go to the BOM section of this project, let me just save this. If there are multiple BOMs that will require at different stages of the project, there could be additional, like you can have more phases, like it could be quality phase, it could be in the proto phase also. We would need some data, so you can create a BOM. You can go to the project BOM here, and you can create a one more BOM that is for the proto phase with the materials that you require. You can add them and add it to the proto phase, so that when they will make association with the schedule that has been defined here. And once the materials are defined at this point, what will happen is that you can go ahead and actually see a material demand forecast. So let me, so this is the screenshot of material demand forecast. So just now I added pretty much the same materials to show you. So there's a previous screenshot that there was one demand at 29th. So now that I have added one more, so the graph will change. So this snippet just I kept so that I can show you the reference in terms of the difference that you'll see. Okay, so I can go, once I click on forecast, now you can see that earlier the previous project, I had just one project over there which had one requirement. The new project I've added needs 4 quantities that I just updated. So you can see there's a graph that indicates that currently has this value, that is current inventory is 12. Okay, based on each need at this point of time, your material is going to become 7. And similarly, you can define a particular range which you can view, and you can predict and say that, okay, once it has come down, so now that it's time for me to, or my planning team or procurement team, to go ahead and start procuring the materials, so that they will, the production goes as planned. So this is for the elbow, this is for the gasket. So when I click on each material, it will show the graph based on how. So especially this one, if you see the pipe, you can see that it's almost come to 0. So this becomes critical, so that I need to purchase it way ahead. Okay, so like this, you'll be able to see the forecast. Similarly, you can also filter for only the projects that you want. You can have filters. So if I just search for the other project that I use, so only if I use this one and apply, I can see only for that. Okay, this was the previous project that I talked about. And now the project I added was JST. So if I apply, it will show the computed. By default, it computes for everything. You can have filters of your own. On top of it, we can group, filter by material group. In this case, if I want to look for anything that is built in-house, if I put for filter only the in-house based items, which okay. Similarly, you can add other groups like bought out and filter for those also. And we have option of filtering across for the period. So you can define a period. Let's say you want to look for something which is 1 month ahead, 2 month ahead, 3 month ahead. You can add those, and the whole graph will show here. Okay. So this is how the DTX will help you in terms of having a material demand forecast with the help of having a complete, having a proper schedule, project plan, and making the right association with the bill of materials which are made with regards to the project will allow you to see the forecasting or predict what materials you would need, depending on the schedule. This is very useful in case if you are like whenever a project starts, if you define a bill of material in the very beginning, saying that for this project or for this, let's say you're developing a machine, or if you're doing certain deliverables that are predefined, saying that this is what will be the output that I would be needing at the end of the project in the very beginning when you're scheduling it. And if you make these associations, identifying when and where you should be placing your orders to get the raw materials or get the items would be a lot easier with this approach of material demand forecast. Okay. Now, we open to the sessions of Q&A. Attendees, if you have any questions, please post them in the question area so that we can go over those questions and answer them. Okay, I see one question from, sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, but from Manab Bendra. So apologies if I pronounce your name wrong, sir. But your question says is that, so for bomb release, will the admin lock the bomb first and then release? No, so the lock function is different from release actually. Okay, so locking is just stating that at this point, let's say you have a bomb that has been defined, saying that this is what will be the finalized. It's not the approved one yet. It's just saying that no more edits are allowed on this bomb. Then you lock it, and if you want to have a review, you can have a review, and finally you can have, after that you'll be able to release. That's the process. So otherwise, release is totally different from locking. Okay, it's just preventing other editors from editing it. Okay, at that point of time, and then you can come back, have reviews, and then finally you release it. Okay. Yeah. So to answer simply, yeah, admin will be able to lock and release. Users will not be able to. Where once the bomb is unlocked, the editors who have access will be able to edit these bombs. Next question is on, for sharing a bomb, should the vendor also have DTX platform? Okay, yeah. So this is where sharing with vendors or suppliers or externals who only will be working on the shared content. They do not need any, like they will need to be invited, but they don't have to pay anything for the licensing. Okay, as a user who is actually having access to all the modules, So like you can see all these modules which are there. If you're editing, working on all these modules, like any of the module you say, if you pick, let's say you just want BOM and material master, so we will give you only these two modules. And if you're working on these two modules, then you will be licensed. But to work on any particular BOM, that only has been shared, okay, only a shared content. So you're not having access to complete your product list. So if I just go to the BOM, there are n number of product codes or products that my company develops. Okay, similarly in your case, it could be your company that develops. But in this, let's say only this particular BOM is shared. Only to work on that BOM, the vendor or the supplier with whom you're sharing can work on free of cost. We don't charge for them. But yeah, you need to send an invite to them saying that you're calling them to work with you as a collaborator. The way to do that is when you need to send an invite of the tenant. So here you'll be inviting the tenant. So when you invite a tenant, you'll define from which, like you fill in the details of that particular vendor with whom you want to work, and the invite goes to them. Through that, they'll be able to log in, and then you can share them the contents. Okay. So the next question is on how the material requirement gets sensed and the forecast is made. Yeah. So as I mentioned, the method through which we are able to predict the forecasting is based on the plan that has been defined, the schedule. So project plan, and also based on the you know the associated BOM that has been made at a given scheduled time. So based on whenever well, let me just go to the project. So since I made an association in R&D, which is on which is getting started on 2nd Jan, sorry, 1st of Feb. So the demand forecast will predict that, okay, since I made association for this materials on by 1st of Feb, I would be needing so and so materials which are made in the BOM. So that's what I see in the forecast. When I go here in the here, I can see that the requirement is on the 1st of Feb for these items. So that's how the prediction happens. So with the help of the plan and the schedule, like an associated BOM that you made. There's a question from Suraj asking for how ERP ID mentioned in item. Yeah, so as I mentioned at the very beginning, DTX also provides integration services. So we can build an integration service with your existing ERP system, and we will call in for the data wherever the ERP ID is stored. And we make association between the part number that you're using in SolidWorks or in your other CAD. So there are plugins for SolidWorks, AutoCAD, BricsCAD, and if you're using any other software also like Creo, NX, we can build a custom plugin for you so that you'll be able to make association between the CAD part numbers and the ERP item numbers which you're using, and have it reposited in the item master over here. There's next question from Shailesh. Can this link to ERP system so that automatic purchase, etc. possible? Linking to ERP system is possible. When you say automating the purchase process as such, that is something that we will have to sit and discuss. So that, because automation is a very huge topic to talk about, and what aspect of purchase are you talking about automating is something that we can have a discussion on one-on-one to go about and see the scope of possibility of having that or feasibility of having that. So there's one more question from Krishna. DTX is an ERP software. No, sir, DTX is not an ERP software. DTX is a bridge, is a tool that will allow you to bridge between all your multiple systems, as I mentioned at the very beginning. So it's not a full-fledged ERP software. We have components that are required to enable us to connect with the systems. Like ERP does a lot more things apart from just the item master or BOM management. It also has other things such as vendor, the CRM kind of activities are some which are there within ERP, but all those things are not being done in DTX. DTX will, since we're catering to the manufacturing and the production environment, so ERP has the huge amount of data which you need for post-production activities. So that's where we have built the item master and BOM so that you can make an association between the SolidWorks or your CAD files and the BOM or the material master that is there in your ERP as such. So to answer in short, it's not an ERP software. It's actually a tool to bridge between multiple systems. One such system is the ERP and the CAD. There's one more question from Anup asking for how do you manage variants or configuration in DTX? Okay, so the way to handling the variance or configuration DTX is that with the help of creating the variance itself. So while creating a BOM, I have certain options such as inherit from, copy from, and add. Add is something which is like creating completely from scratch. Okay, and the function of inherit is this inherit function. We have built it so that let's say you have the CAD model or this CAD model built, and if you want to build your next BOM, that is like in terms of the so CAD BOM is basically your design BOM, and now you want to build your manufacturing or purchase BOM. You would be using the design BOM as a reference. So what you can do is you can upload the design bill of material directly from the CAD to DTX and then say inherit from. So what it'll do is it'll copy the contents of the design BOM and then you can start modifying. So let me just show you some other just go to the master. Let me just show you some samples here for you to make it clear. So against this particular product that I'm building, I have a EBOM that it is inherited to make an MBOM. There is another EBOM which is coming from the CAD. Then I have inherited this EBOM, okay, to create my MBOM asset. So here I'll be making the modifications required to regards to the manufacturing aspect. And if I make a PBOM, then that would have a different contents and quantity based on what is required for the purchase purpose. So this is how we are managing the variants and every configuration. For to say we will basically be creating a new BOM altogether against a given product code. Okay, and for any edit that happens, we have a track of versions. And whenever there is a mismatch, when I mean by mismatch is that let's say you uploaded the CAD and now the CAD has been now the CAD BOM has been updated. You modified the CAD and then you updated the new version of the BOM. Here you will see the indication saying that this EBOM was using the third version, which is outdated. So you can click on this and you can do an update so that it will automatically go and update the BOM, okay, to the latest version. There's one more question from Dheeraj. How do you maintain revisions in BOM and does it change the time plan according to the forecast? Is it automated and linked with the individual part lead time? Okay, to answer the first part, maintaining revisions in BOM. So as I showcase here, every modification, check-in, check-out has versions. And you can see this version 3 is released. So we have lifecycle status combined to identify which is a release version, whereas version 1 and 2 were more of modification that were being done in the process of defining the complete bill of material. So lifecycle combined with the versions and the lifecycle statuses, we are controlling the revision in the DTX. Now coming to the other part of the question, does it change the time plan according to the forecast? Actually, based on how we have planned the schedule, the forecast will change. Now, in this case, if let me just go here to the project. So let's say the particular plan where R&D had associated, if that gets moved, okay. So this was actually planned here. Let's say I go and add a lead to this. Okay, let's say it is having a lead, a lag of 8. Sorry. Okay. Task. Say 8 and save it. And I say auto compute. So the date has changed from 1st to 2nd Feb. Okay. Now that the dates have changed in the plan itself, automatically that will reflect in my forecasting. Now that you can see earlier it was 1st Feb, now it has changed to 2nd Feb. So as the plan moves based on the actual progress, automatically the forecast will also get updated. Is it automatic and linked with individual part lead time? Part lead time is not having a factor in the projection. It's based on the planning overall. But yes, you can have certain properties inside the material which you can use to further, read and then make a decision which is having a long lead. So as explained, you can mark such long lead items as a group, and then you can filter for those and go into the properties of those materials and see what is the lead time required for those as such. There's one more question from Kiran. Is it possible to integrate SolidWorks with DTX? Yes, sir. We have a integration. We have a plugin for SolidWorks to upload BOMs and Material Master and make association, so that you can call in the properties which are there in the Material Master directly to the CAD itself. Okay, rather than filling the properties of the CAD, like what is the material code and everything which are there in the Material Master, we have the plugin to directly call those material data from DTX to the CAD properties, and also uploading the CAD BOM to the DTX through the plugin. I hope that answers the question. Next, we have one more question from Anup. It says, if child part is modified with new revision, should parent assembly should also get a new revision number? Child part is modified with a new revision, should assembly. In terms of like best practice or the standard approach, whenever a child is getting modified in terms of revision, see, it depends on what kind of revision it is, sir. Like whether it is a complete design change in terms of which is going to impact the overall assembly itself, or it's a very minor change that has no impact. So those defines whether the assembly gets a revision or not in terms of best practices. So it's all on the call of the designing team. So for those, you'd have a process of revision control. Okay, so it's more of the process driven thing than what can be controlled over here. But yeah, there will be always be a version change if there's a major change in the child as such, like the quantity are getting changed or the child itself is getting replaced, which is impacting the BOM. The BOM will get updated with a new revision or version as such. There is a next question from Suraj asking for, can we track revision of BOM, that is which item are added or removed? Yeah, to answer that question, yes, we have the compare function within the BOM. Okay, so let me just go to the master to show you the comparison, how it works. So I'll pick this BOM, or else I'll pick sketch 3, I guess. Yeah. Here I can select compare and I can say which BOM I'm comparing. Let's say BOM 2 version 1 and sketch version 4. Let me just pick something else. This one, no. Let me just pick one. Just I was looking to. Yeah. So in this way, here I'm comparing two BOMs. Like it's basically for the same product though, but we have created two different BOM variants, and within the same version also you can check for. If I want to check between version 1 and version 2 of the same, so I can do that as well. And you can see which are the items that have got modified. If anything is modified, that would be in yellow, which is got added as new would be in green, and whichever is deleted would be in red. So you'll get a summary of this comparison here. So by comparing, you'll be able to understand what is the difference between the revisions as such. Okay, this next question from Ashutosh. Is change in original design data can make changes in BOM? Yes, sir, you can do that. But whenever a design gets changed, you need to do the action of uploading the BOM through the plugin that we have for the DTX. So system will not automatically understand like what modification you did, and then because that kind of automation would go for a long iteration. So whenever there's a change in the design and you identify that this is impacting the BOM, we have a plugin, you just go and say upload the BOM through the plugin, and it will be updated to the DTX platform on this page over here, and it will create the version against that particular product code. So if you're uploading this product code and you make some modification to this, automatically next version. So here 2 is there, version 3 will be created. So in this way, it will automatically update from the DTX plugin whenever you upload the CAD BOM to the DTX. Okay, yes, sir. So we can share you the recording of this. Our marketing team will share you the recording of this session, and also the previous sessions. We can have it shared to you. And if you have any further queries, we can always reach out to us to the marketing email through which you got this invite, or also you can reach out to me. You can find my contact details here, and we'll come back to you to answer your queries. Thank you all.